For 8 long years, the grandmother diligently administered medication to her ailing granddaughter. But one fateful day, driven by suspicion, the granddaughter hid a recorder in the room, and what she uncovered on that recording left her utterly bewildered. In the serene town of Asheville, where the sun casts a warm glow over the streets, lives Mazel. At just 14 years old, her life has been profoundly shaped by extraordinary events following the tragic loss of her mother when she was merely 2. Due to muscle atrophy, Mazel became paraplegic, yet she found solace and care in her grandmother, Donna Mildred, a kindly woman with a nurturing spirit and a firm demeanor. Donna Mildred's love for Mazel was boundless, and she treated her granddaughter with the same devotion as a mother would, administering the medications that were meant to improve Mazel's condition over the years. Like any other day, the household followed a familiar rhythm. Before the sun broke over the horizon, Donna Mildred began her morning ritual, the sound of her footsteps echoing through the quiet kitchen as she prepared breakfast. "Mazel, my dear, it's time to wake up," she called, climbing the stairs with her usual patience. Mazel's response was a sleepy smile, her eyes brightening at the sight of her grandmother. "Good morning, Donna Mildred," she murmured, her voice still thick with sleep. "I'm so excited for today. Fliza is coming over later, and we're going to have so much fun together, just like always." Breakfast was often followed by the arrival of Dr. Malbold, Donna Mildred's nurse partner, who would show up with a briefcase filled with vials and syringes, ready to perform Mazel's routine checkups. "How are we doing today, Mazel?" he asked, examining her with careful attention while Donna Mildred looked on anxiously. "I've already told my grandmother that I don't need all these exams, and I'm not sure I want to keep taking the medications," Mazel replied, surprising the nurse with her defiance. "I've been taking them for years and haven't seen any improvement. It's time to accept my condition. Mazel, the medications are crucial for your health. They may not have healed you yet, but we need to prevent your condition from worsening. It's just your legs now, but if you stop taking them, the atrophy could spread," Dr. Malbold insisted, urgency threading through his voice. The day progressed as usual until Fliza arrived, bursting through the door like a whirlwind of excitement, her youthful energy filling the room. "Mazel, are you ready for today's adventure? Let me in!" she exclaimed, entering as if she belonged there. As Mazel opened the door, Donna Mildred cast a watchful eye over the girls. "Be careful, girls," she warned, knowing that Fliza was one of the few who made Mazel feel truly alive. Despite her limitations, Fliza's presence always brought a wave of joy, her laughter echoing throughout the house. Together, they conjured up fantastical worlds, imagining grand escapades where Mazel could run and dance without any restrictions. "Imagine if we could explore an enchanted castle," Fliza suggested, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "And I could be the princess, while you're the brave knight who comes to save me," Mazel replied, fully engrossed in the fantasy. Their friendship blossomed through these shared dreams, and Mazel, typically reserved around others, opened her heart to Fliza, the keeper of her secrets. Meanwhile, Donna Mildred observed from a distance, her heart heavy with love and sorrow for her granddaughter's struggles. Clutching a bottle of medication that Dr. Malbold had delivered earlier, she carefully peeled away the label, determined that Mazel didn't need to know more than she already did. "Mazel doesn't need to worry about these medications. She knows enough. I'll do my best to give her a happy life, no matter what," she vowed silently. That afternoon, as the sun dipped low in the sky, the girls immersed themselves in their imaginative play, transforming the living room into a realm of endless possibilities. As twilight painted the sky in soft hues of orange and pink, they lost track of time, absorbed in their enchanted kingdom. "Mazel, your mum must be on her way," Mazel observed, noticing the changing light that hinted at nightfall. "Time to go home, Fliza," her mother, Alak, announced cheerfully as she approached the front door, a basket of groceries in hand. Fliza, still wrapped in the enchantment of their play, paused to exchange promises with her friend. "I promise I'll be back tomorrow," she assured, her eyes sparkling with sincerity. As Alak approached Donna Mildred, she extended the basket toward her. "I thought this might help a little with your expenses. I know how costly the medications can be, and I managed to gather some extras from work. I hope it helps, she said, her tone warm and friendly. Surprised and moved by the gesture, Donna Mildred struggled to find the right words. Alack, this means the world to us. Thank you so much. We've been a bit tight on funds, but this will make a significant difference, she replied, her voice thick with emotion. As night began to envelop the room, Alack and Fliza prepared to leave. See you soon, Mazel! And thank you, Mildred, for always welcoming my daughter into your home. You're an incredible woman, and I'm grateful that Mazel has you as her grandmother, Alack said before stepping out. With the departure of their guests, the house fell silent once more, but Alack's generosity left a lingering warmth. Donna Mildred reflected on the day, feeling a mixture of gratitude and worry. While the help was appreciated, it also served as a painful reminder of the tough choices she had to make for Mazel. Though the medications helped stabilize her granddaughter's condition, they did so in a way Mazel could not fully comprehend. As darkness deepened, Donna Mildred and Mazel shared a quiet dinner, discussing their day and looking forward to tomorrow. Fliza always brings a spark to our days, doesn't she, Grandma? Mazel remarked, her tone hopeful. Yes, dear. She brings so much joy into our lives. Donna Mildred agreed, sharing a knowing smile with Mazel. But a week after Alack's generous offer, the atmosphere in their home had shifted to an unsettling quiet. The cost of Mazel's medications had grown into an increasingly insurmountable burden, weighing heavily on Donna Mildred's heart. In a moment of desperation, she picked up the phone, her hands trembling as she dialed Alack's number. Hello, Alack? It's me, Mildred. I'm sorry to bother you, but I need to talk. We're facing some difficulties here, Donna Mildred began, her voice wavering with concern. Mazel's medications are becoming more than we can manage, and I don't know how to keep supporting my precious granddaughter. My retirement isn't enough, and I can't find work right now. On the other end of the line, Alack listened with a blend of surprise and empathy. Donna Mildred listened to Alack's response, a wave of relief washing over her. You're not bothering me at all. Please don't worry. I'll see what I can do. Maybe I can talk to the neighbors, see if we can gather some money to help out, Alack said, her voice strong and filled with calm determination. I don't know how to thank you, Alack. Your kindness is truly overwhelming. You've been a light for us during these dark times. I have faith we'll get through this, and I hope you're blessed for everything you're doing for me and my granddaughter, Donna Mildred replied, her voice thick with emotion, though words could hardly convey the depth of her gratitude. In the following days, Alack went door to door, sharing Mazel and Donna Mildred's situation with the Asheville community. The small town, known for its warmth and generosity, quickly rallied around them. Many neighbors offered what they could, deeply moved by the story of the young girl and her grandmother's struggle to keep going. Meanwhile, Mazel, unaware of the efforts being made on her behalf, spent her days with Fliza, her loyal companion. They continued to play, laugh, and dream up adventures, but Fliza began to notice the occasional shadow crossing Mazel's face. Are you okay, Mazel? You seem worried, Fliza asked one day, her expression mirroring the concern she felt for her friend. I'm fine, Fliza, Mazel replied, trying to push the worry aside. I've just been thinking about how my condition limits me. But I'll keep fighting. Maybe the medications will work soon, and I'll be cured, she added, though the conviction in her voice wavered. Mazel's faith in the treatment had been dwindling with each dose she took, but she clung to the hope that things would improve. By the end of the week, Alack and the neighbors had raised a substantial sum for Mazel's care. When Alack handed the envelope over to Donna Mildred, the older woman's eyes welled with tears. I don't know how to express my gratitude. Please tell everyone who helped that I am forever thankful. This money will all go towards Mazel's treatment. You've given us more than financial help, you've given us hope, she said, her voice trembling with emotion. That night, Donna Mildred carefully placed the envelope in her wallet and hid it under her bed, far away from Mazel's sight. They don't need to know about this. Mazel and Fliza shouldn't have to worry about this kind of thing, she whispered to herself, ensuring that her granddaughter's focus would remain on her health and happiness. The next morning, Donna Mildred sat across from Mazel at the kitchen table. The early sunlight streamed through the window, casting golden patterns across the worn surface. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the room, signaling a new beginning. Mazel, there's something I need to talk to you about, Donna Mildred began, her tone gentle but serious. Mazel looked up from her plate, sensing the weight of her grandmother's words. What is it, Grandma? She asked, curiosity and a hint of anxiety in her voice. I signed us up for a government assistance program, Donna Mildred explained. It's for families like ours, and it will help cover the cost of your medications. It's not much, but it will take some of the pressure off. Mazel's eyes widened as she processed the information. Does this mean things will get easier for us? She asked, her voice tinged with hope. Donna Mildred smiled, the expression softening her tired face. Yes, dear. This will help us a lot. And I'll keep looking for work too. But this assistance will give us some relief, she reassured her. Mazel's face fell into an expression of guilt. I don't want to be a burden, Grandma, she said quietly, her vulnerability spilling into the open. Without hesitation, Donna Mildred took Mazel's hands in her own and looked her directly in the eyes. You are not a burden, Mazel. You will never be a burden. My greatest joy is making sure you are happy and healthy, she said, her voice firm with conviction and love. The conversation lifted the weight of uncertainty from both their hearts, and as the sun shone brighter through the kitchen window, Mazel began to smile again. So, this means I can keep going to school and playing with Fliza, right? She asked, her eyes alight with renewed optimism. Exactly, my dear, Donna Mildred replied. But remember, we have to keep up with your medications. They're the most important part of all this. As the night deepened, Mazel slept peacefully in her room, while Donna Mildred sat at the kitchen table, her face etched with the strain of the secrets she had kept for so long. Under the dim light, she picked up the phone, her hands trembling as she dialed Dr. Malbold's number. Doctor, it's Mildred, she began, her voice low and strained. Everything is continuing as planned. Mazel's condition hasn't changed. No improvement, just the same as it's been for the last 12 years. Good, Dr. Malbold replied, his calm tone betraying no hint of the darkness behind their arrangement. It's vital that her condition stays as it is. We must be cautious. If Mazel ever suspects the truth, everything we've worked for could fall apart. I understand, Donna Mildred said, her voice breaking slightly. But it's hard. Keeping this secret, living with it every day, it's a burden I never imagined. I know, Mildred. But we're in this together. We'll do whatever is necessary to ensure Mazel stays in the life you've planned for her, Dr. Malbold assured her. I'll bring more of the medications tomorrow. We must continue, because if Mazel recovers, everything, the benefits, the stability, will be lost. Donna Mildred sighed deeply, her heart heavy with the weight of her decision. I know. I'll do what I have to for her, she whispered, hanging up the phone and staring into the darkness. After the call, Donna Mildred remained seated in the dim kitchen, her eyes fixed on the stars outside. The night sky seemed to watch over her, its vastness both a comfort and a reminder of the heavy secret she carried. I know what I'm doing is wrong, continuing this charade for so long, but my daughter asked me to care for Mazel, and I will. Even if it means keeping her disabled, so I can always protect her, she thought to herself, a deep sense of guilt weighing heavily on her chest. The following morning, at Colette's cozy home, breakfast was in full swing. The warmth of the kitchen, filled with laughter and the clinking of cutlery, created a sense of normalcy. As they ate, Colette decided to share the news about the community's efforts with her daughter, Fliza. She assumed that by now Donna Mildred would have told Mazel about the support they had received, and Mazel would have shared it with Fliza. Fliza, did you know about the help we organized for Mazel and Donna Mildred? Colette asked, her tone filled with pride. The whole community came together and donated some money to help them out. I really hope this brings them some relief. Fliza, caught off guard by the news, almost dropped her fork. No, I didn't know anything about that, Mom. Mazel didn't tell me, she replied, surprise coloring her voice. Despite the shock, a genuine smile spread across her face as her heart warmed at the thought of her community's generosity. That's amazing! I'm sure Donna, Mildred, and Mazel must be so relieved. Eager to talk to Mazel, Fliza couldn't wait for school the next day. During recess, they met under their favorite old tree in the schoolyard, where they often shared their secrets. Mazel! You won't believe it! My mom told me last night about the help the community organized for you and your grandmother. Why didn't you tell me? Fliza asked, her voice a mix of joy and gentle confusion. Mazel frowned, clearly caught off guard. I didn't know, Fliza. My grandmother didn't tell me anything about it, she replied, her voice trembling with surprise. Her mind raced, trying to comprehend why Donna Mildred had kept such significant news from her. It's great, though. It'll really help with the medications and everything. Fliza noticed the tension in Mazel's voice, though Mazel tried to smile through it. Their conversation drifted back to the community's kindness, but for the rest of the day, Mazel couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Why hadn't her grandmother told her? At the end of a long day filled with unanswered questions, Mazel finally made her way home. As she stepped through the door, the familiar smell of freshly baked cake greeted her. Grandma, can we talk? She called, hanging up her backpack and looking around for her grandmother. Donna Mildred emerged from the kitchen with a warm smile, though her eyes flickered with hesitation when she saw Mazel's expression. Ah, my dear, you're back already. I just baked a cake for you. How was school? She asked, trying to maintain the usual lightness between them. School was okay, Grandma, but Fliza told me something interesting today. Mazel began, stepping closer. She said the community organized help for us, money for my medications and everything. Is that true? Why didn't you tell me? Donna Mildred's smile faltered. Caught off guard, she fumbled for a response. Oh, yes, it's true, she admitted, her gaze briefly shifting away before meeting Mazel's. I didn't want to worry you about it. The money came in, and I used it right away for your next doctor's consultation and medications. I didn't mean to hide it from you. Mazel took in her grandmother's explanation, feeling a mix of relief and lingering curiosity. I understand. I was just surprised. I'm glad the community is helping us, she replied, her smile slowly returning, easing the tension between them. Sensing the need to steer the conversation away from any further questions, Donna Mildred quickly suggested they focus on dinner. How about we decide what to cook together? We could celebrate the help we've received, she offered, hoping to shift Mazel's attention. That sounds great, Grandma. Let's make something special. Mazel agreed, her smile brightening. Though her curiosity about the community's help lingered, the promise of spending quality time cooking with her grandmother brought her comfort. Later that night, as the moon cast its gentle glow over the town, Mazel went to take out the trash, a simple, routine task. But as she sifted through the garbage, something unusual caught her eye, a small, unlabeled medicine bottle. It was odd, given her grandmother's meticulous nature when it came to organizing their medical supplies. Curious and concerned, Mazel returned to the kitchen, where Donna Mildred was cleaning up after dinner. Grandma, I found this in the trash, Mazel said, holding up the bottle. Why doesn't this medicine have a label? I've never seen anything like this before. Can they even sell medication like this? Donna Mildred froze, her heart racing as she saw the bottle in Mazel's hand. She hadn't expected Mazel to find it. Her mind scrambled for an explanation as her granddaughter stood waiting for an answer. The silence between Mazel and her grandmother felt heavy as she held up the unmarked medicine bottle, her curiosity refusing to fade. Grandma Mildred's eyes flicked to the bottle, her face betraying a flicker of hesitation before she attempted a calm response. Oh, that? Grandma Mildred began, her voice a little too light. It's just an old medicine, Mazel. I peeled off the label before tossing it. It had your name on it, you see, and I didn't want your personal information lying around for anyone to find. Her smile was forced, as if hoping the explanation would be enough to end the conversation. Nothing to worry about. But Mazel wasn't convinced. The lack of a label and her grandmother's evasive tone only raised more questions. But why would it be in our trash, Grandma? What kind of medicine doesn't have a label? She pressed gently, her concern growing. Seeing Mazel's persistence, Grandma Mildred sighed softly. There are things you won't fully understand yet, Mazel. I need you to trust me on this. Her voice took on a firmer edge, though her eyes still held their usual warmth. Now, please, just get rid of it for me. Let's not make a fuss over something so small. Reluctantly, Mazel nodded, though the unanswered questions swirled in her mind. Her grandmother's request felt more like a plea, asking her to drop the subject. Still, the oddness of the unlabeled bottle and the secrets surrounding it gnawed at her. As she walked toward the trash, she hesitated and, instead of throwing the bottle away, quietly slipped it into her pocket. Later, in the privacy of her room, Mazel stashed the bottle in a drawer, her mind racing with thoughts about the strange events at home. It wasn't just the medicine bottle, it was the secrecy surrounding the community's help, too. Her trust in her grandmother was starting to crack, a small but growing rift forming between the love they shared and the mysteries her grandmother seemed determined to hide. The next day, Mazel decided she needed some space to clear her head. She asked Grandma Mildred for permission to visit her best friend, Fliza, and spend the night at her house. Grandma Mildred, unaware of the true reason for the request, agreed without hesitation. Of course, my dear. Go enjoy yourself with Fliza. You deserve a break from everything, her grandmother said warmly, still oblivious to the growing doubts in Mazel's heart. Once at Fliza's house, Mazel felt the weight of her worries lift slightly in the familiar, comforting atmosphere. The moment they were alone, Fliza could tell something was wrong. What's bothering you, Mazel? You look like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders, Fliza said, guiding her to a quiet corner of her room. Mazel took a deep breath, her thoughts tumbling over one another. It's Grandma. She's been hiding things from me, like the money the community gave us, and yesterday, I found a medicine bottle with no label. She didn't want to talk about it. I think something's going on, and I'm scared she's not telling me the truth, Mazel explained, her voice trembling with a mix of confusion and fear. Fliza listened intently, her expression growing more serious as Mazel spoke. After a moment, she nodded. I think you're right to feel like something's off. We need to figure out what's really happening. Maybe it has to do with Dr. Malbold. Have you noticed anything strange about him? Mazel hesitated, recalling her visits to Dr. Malbold but finding nothing concrete. Not exactly, but I have a feeling there's something they're keeping from me. Fliza's eyes lit up with a sudden idea. Wait here! She jumped up and rummaged through a drawer, emerging with a small, outdated voice recorder. My grandpa gave me this ages ago. We could use it to record any conversations when Dr. Malbold comes over. If we hide it well, maybe we'll hear something they're not telling you. Mazel stared at the device, feeling both excited and nervous. But where could we hide it without her noticing? Grandma's been extra cautious lately. Fliza smiled, clearly thinking ahead. We'll hide it in the living room, behind one of the decorations or in a plant. Somewhere it can pick up sound but stay out of sight. They spent the next hour planning, going over every detail to make sure their recorder wouldn't be discovered. The conversation turned from doubt to determination, the bond between Mazel and Fliza growing even stronger, as they prepared to uncover the truth together. And how do we listen to what's recorded? Mazel asked, still cautious. I don't want anyone to catch us. Fliza grinned. Easy. The recorder has a wireless transmitter. We can listen from your room in real time, and no one will ever know. Mazel felt a surge of hope. You're right, this could work. But we have to be careful. I don't want you getting in trouble because of me. Fliza shook her head. Don't worry about that. We're in this together. Whatever we find out, we'll handle it. That night, Mazel slept over at Fliza's house, both girls whispering excitedly about their plan. But the next morning, a call from Mazel's grandmother interrupted their scheming. Grandma Mildred had called, asking for Mazel to return home due to an unexpected visit from Dr. Malbold. Colette, Fliza's mother, gently passed along the message. Mazel, your grandmother says Dr. Malbold is coming by, and she needs you home. Mazel exchanged a glance with Fliza, disappointment flickering in her eyes, but determination quickly replaced it. Looks like the plan is starting sooner than we thought, she whispered, her voice steady with resolve. Fliza, you're coming with me, right? I'll need you there for the plan, Mazel said, her voice tight with nerves. Fliza nodded without hesitation as they climbed into Colette's car. The ride back to Mazel's house was silent, tension filling the space between them. Mazel stared out the window, mentally reviewing every step of their plan. We need to be quick, discreet. Grandma can't suspect anything, she thought, more to herself than the others. Sitting beside her, Fliza gently placed her hand over Mazel's, offering silent support. It was a small gesture, but in that moment, it felt like a lifeline. When they arrived, Grandma Mildred greeted them at the door, her face a mixture of relief and something else, worry, perhaps. Mazel, Fliza, I'm glad you're here. Dr. Malbold should be arriving soon, she said, her voice steady, though Mazel could sense the underlying tension. As Grandma Mildred turned toward the kitchen, Mazel knew it was time to set their plan in motion. Moving quickly and quietly, they picked an old potted plant in the living room, often the site of Grandma Mildred and Dr. Malbold's conversations. Fliza, her hands steady from hours of rehearsing the moment in her mind, carefully hid the small recorder among the leaves. I think it's good here, she whispered. Mazel nodded, her eyes gleaming with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. It wasn't long before the doorbell rang, announcing Dr. Malbold's arrival. Grandma greeted him with a polite smile, ushering him inside. Mazel watched their exchange, struggling to contain her nervousness. Please come in. Mazel's in the living room waiting, Grandma said, guiding him toward the consultation area. She gave Mazel and Fliza a quick glance, signaling that they should give them privacy. The two girls slipped away quietly, retreating to Mazel's room where the small receiver was set up to pick up the audio from the recorder. With the door carefully shut behind them, they sat down, tension rising as they prepared to listen. Now we wait, Fliza murmured, her voice thick with anticipation. From the receiver, the low murmur of conversation filtered through, words indistinct at first but slowly becoming clearer. Mazel and Fliza leaned closer, straining to catch every syllable. At first, it was the usual talk about Mazel's health and treatments, nothing too revealing, but then the conversation took an unexpected turn. Through the crackling audio, Grandma Mildred's voice wavered with hesitation. Dr. Malbold, we've kept this secret for so long, but I'm starting to wonder if we're doing the right thing for Mazel. Maybe she deserves to know the truth about her health, about the medicine we've been giving her. Dr. Malbold's reply was firm, but a hint of tension cracked his calm demeanor. Mildred, this was your plan, not mine. I can't risk my career over this. If this comes out, I could lose everything. Let's keep things as they are. Your granddaughter is managing fine, and you're benefiting financially. The city pays well, and the community support is strong. Everyone's happy with the way things are. The words hit Mazel like a physical blow, the truth unraveling painfully. She turned to Fliza, her face pale, eyes wide with shock. They'd been giving me medicine to keep me like this? That's why nothing ever worked. But why? She whispered, her voice trembling as the weight of the revelation settled in. Fliza, equally shaken, squeezed her friend's hand. Mazel, this means there might not be anything wrong with you. You could walk if it weren't for those medicines. She paused, her own voice faltering before continuing. We have to confront them, find out why they lied. Mazel nodded, her confusion quickly giving way to a hard resolve. You're right. I need answers, no more secrets. Downstairs, the conversation between Grandma Mildred and Dr. Malbold eventually ended. The sound of footsteps signaled his departure, and soon after, Grandma Mildred came upstairs, likely to check on them. Mazel, Fliza, is everything all right? You both seem a little off, Grandma said, her eyes scanning their faces. Mazel and Fliza exchanged a quick glance, silently agreeing to keep their secret for now. Everything's fine, Grandma, Mazel replied, forcing a smile. We were just talking about school. Satisfied but still suspicious, Grandma Mildred left the room. As the door clicked shut behind her, Mazel turned to Fliza. We need to show these recordings to my mom, she said, determination solidifying in her voice. She has to hear this. Without wasting any time, the two girls left the house and made their way to Colette's. The recorder felt heavy in Mazel's hands, like the key to unraveling years of lies. When they arrived, they wasted no time explaining what they had discovered, handing over both the recorder and the unlabeled medicine bottle. Colette listened to the recording in silence, her face slowly shifting from confusion to shock and finally, to anger. How could someone do this? She whispered, her voice shaking with disbelief. How could they use your health, your life, like this? Mazel struggled to hold back tears as she replied, I don't understand it either. But we have proof now. Colette, eyes glistening with unshed tears, took a deep breath. This is monstrous. To use a child's health for personal gain, it's unforgivable. Fliza, always the voice of reason, stepped forward. Now that you know, we can do something about it, right? Colette nodded, her face hardening with resolve. Yes, we will. We'll make sure justice is served. With a fierce hug that communicated all their shared determination, the three prepared for the next step, taking the evidence to the authorities. Together, with the recorder and bottle in hand, they headed to the local police station, ready to face the truth head-on. When they arrived, the seriousness of their expressions caught the attention of the officer behind the desk. How can I help you? He asked, sensing the gravity of the situation. The officer's expression became sharp with focus as soon as he saw their determination. Colette took the lead, holding the recorder and the medicine bottle firmly. We need to report a case of medical manipulation and abuse of trust, she said, her voice steady but full of emotion. We have proof that a girl was kept in a false medical condition for years, manipulated by her grandmother and a doctor through medications. The officer, sensing the gravity of the situation, led them to a private room where they could explain further. There, Colette laid out everything, from their initial suspicions to the discovery of the recording and the mysterious, unlabeled medicine. She played the recording, letting the damning words of Grandma Mildred and Dr. Malbold fill the room. After listening closely, the officer leaned back, his face grim. These are serious accusations, he said, nodding gravely. We'll start an investigation immediately. We'll need all the evidence, including this recorder and the medicine bottle. We'll do everything we can to make sure justice is served. Colette's voice trembled with relief. Thank you, she said, finally feeling the weight lift from her shoulders. We can't let them get away with this after deceiving so many people. In the weeks that followed, the police moved quickly. The recording and the unlabeled bottle served as key pieces of evidence, leading to a deeper investigation. Soon, Grandma Mildred and Dr. Malbold were arrested, facing charges of fraud, abuse of trust, and conspiracy to commit medical harm. It was a painful moment for Mazel, Fliza, and Colette, but also a turning point. Justice was finally within reach. Mazel, justice has been served, Colette whispered, pulling her into a tight hug. This doesn't erase what happened, but it's a step toward the life you deserve. With Grandma Mildred and Dr. Malbold facing the consequences of their actions, Mazel's life began to change for the better. Now living with Colette and Fliza, with the adoption process underway, the bond between the three of them grew even stronger, transforming into a true family. The dark chapter of Mazel's life was finally closing. On a particularly sunny day, Mazel decided she needed closure. She wanted to visit Grandma Mildred in prison. Colette, supportive as ever, agreed to take her. The visit was emotionally complicated. As Mazel stepped into the cold, sterile room, her heart pounded. Hi, Grandma, she began, her voice shaky but stronger than she expected. Grandma Mildred looked up, her eyes dull but holding a flicker of something, regret maybe. So you came, she rasped, her voice harsh and bitter. Time in prison had hardened her even more. Yes, Mazel said softly, but with conviction. I came to tell you that I'm okay. I'm living with Colette and Fliza now. They've become my family." Her words were calm but firm, creating a clear distance between them. "I'm starting treatment with a specialist," Mazel continued, her confidence growing as she spoke. "They think the effects of the medicine can be reversed. I'm going to walk again, Grandma." Grandma Mildred's face remained emotionless, though her voice carried a trace of bitterness. "Good for you," she muttered. "But I'm still rotting here. I don't understand why you all abandoned me. Everything I did was out of love. I wanted to give you a better life. The donations were helping us survive. You never went without." Mazel didn't respond. She simply stood, nodded slightly, and walked out of the room without looking back. "Goodbye, Grandma," she whispered as she left. 2 years passed, and Mazel's recovery was nothing short of remarkable. With unwavering support from Colette, Fliza, and a dedicated medical team, she regained not just her mobility but her independence. One sunny afternoon, surrounded by her chosen family and members of the community, Mazel took her first unaided steps in a local park. Applause and tears of joy echoed around her, celebrating not only her physical triumph but the emotional journey she had endured. "I never thought this day would come," Mazel said, looking at Colette and Fliza with gratitude and love shining in her eyes. "But here I am, walking toward a new beginning, thanks to both of you." With steady steps and a light heart, Mazel walked forward, leaving behind the shadows of her past and embracing the promise of a brighter future. Her story became a symbol of hope and resilience in the town, a reminder that even in the darkest of circumstances, the light of perseverance and love can guide the way to redemption and healing. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story of justice and overcoming challenges, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We post exciting stories almost every day, so stay tuned for the next one. See you in the next adventure.